What is good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to some more World of Tanks, and well, welcome to World of Tanks Mercenaries first and foremost. And we are going to overview every single Mercenaries tank that is going to be released in World of Tanks Mercenaries, which releases on the 26th of June, 2 days from now, from when this video is being recorded. So I'm going to overview everything for you guys, and hopefully you're going to have a better understanding as to what to expect from the update and what to expect from each and every single tank in the Mercenaries tech tree. And this is one of them. This is the tier 7 heavy tank Slapjack, and I feel like this thing is going to be one of the best new additions, but we'll come to it later. I just think, god damn, it looks so good. Like, the concept of this thing is just nuts. It's going to be, I hope that it's going to be as good as I think it's going to be, because it just combines like everything, all of the best features of the tier 7 heavy tanks basically. But moving on, what we will do, guys, is I'm going to start at the lowest tier and we will work our way upwards through all of the tanks. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so doing a quick walk around the first tank in the Mercenaries tech tree, we are looking at the Caboose, which is the tier 3 light tank in the tech tree, the very first tank which you will unlock when you complete the Caboose contract. The tanks are earnable through contracts. The contracts have certain requirements for you to complete different stages, and once you've completed all of the stages, you then unlock the tank, similar to how personal missions work over on our cousin on the PC version. Contracts work in a similar way, where you are given a task, you complete that task, you move on to the next stage of the contract, and then you complete that one until you reach the final stage. At completion of that final stage, you then unlock the tank. So this to me looks like a Panzer 38T with some sort of Japanese turret and some sort of Japanese gun. So if we delve into the package information of this tank, we can take a look. It has the turret from a Type 91 Heavy, the 7cm gun from a Type 94. I'm going to guess that that is a derp gun of some description. The Praga EPA/2 engine, and the tracks from indeed a Panzer 38T, which suggests that the hull itself is taken from the Panzer 38T, and a FUG 8 radio, which is a tier 8 radio, which is pretty damn insane for a tier 3. It would be interesting to find out what the radio range is on this thing. So if I click details, we will have a look. The Praga EPA2 engine produces a horsepower of 140. The 7cm gun, guys, let's talk about the gun values of this tank. So, has a standard rate of fire of 15 rounds per minute, a standard aiming time of 2.6 seconds, and the accuracy is 0.48 at 100 meters. Now, that to me sounds like a derp gun indeed, so it may be pretty difficult to aim, but it's a low tier tank. It's going to be that way. Most low tier tanks aren't that accurate, and if this derp gun does actually penetrate and hit something, it's going to do a lot of damage. Now, talking about the penetration values of this gun, we have an average penetration of 30mm with the AP round. We have an average penetration of 90mm with the heat round, and an average penetration of 35mm with the high explosive round. Now that's interesting, because the high explosive round actually has more average penetration than an AP round, and it does 60 more points of damage. Because the AP round has an average damage of 100, so does the heat round, and the high explosive round has an average damage of 160. The traverse speed is 34 degrees a second on the hull, and the traverse speed on the turret is 30 degrees a second. The turret armor is 35mm thick on the front, 30mm on the side and rear, and we have a view range of 330. The signal range is 550, which is pretty damn decent considering that it is a tier 3, but most maps that you'll be fighting on will be pretty small anyway, so that is gonna be a nice addition basically. But that is pretty much it for the Caboose. That's pretty much it. Aside from the crew member, which I need to talk about, each tank comes with a unique crew member with a unique portrait, and they come with 2 skills already trained to them. So the Caboose comes with Sergeant Blue Hunter, and he already has 6th Sense trained as well as Eagle Eye. So you can change those out for what you want them to be, but I would definitely recommend keeping 6th Sense and maybe changing the other skill to Camouflage initially while you train something like Repairs or something of the like. But pretty cool that they come with 2 crew skills already trained. It kind of makes it a bit more worth it to complete the contract, and obviously you don't have to spend a lot of time then training a crew up once you get the tank unlocked and start playing it. You don't have to worry about earning crew XP and training a crew up. They come with a trained crew immediately, which is a very, very nice addition. But moving on to the tier 5 light tank is what we will do now, and that is Stubbs. Look at this thing, guys. Let's do a quick walk around of Stubbs. Can you guess what it is? I mean, I know some of this information has already been released, and I've released this information in my Discord, but for those of you who haven't heard the information already, Stubbs is an M24 Chaffee with the turret from an M10 Wolverine or Achilles, whichever one you want to look at, and it has I think it's the 30cm gun from the Electo, but let me just confirm by going into the packages. 25 pounder, sorry, 25 pounder, I was close. But yeah, it has the turret from an M10, the OQF 25 pounder AT gun howitzer Mark III, so again a light tank equipped with a howitzer, but that is the gun from an Electo, the Maybach HL 157 PA engine, and the tracks from an N24 Chaffee, as well as the tier 9 radio SCR 506. So let's take a look at the details of Stubbs to see exactly how this is going to perform in game. So an engine horsepower of 550. The standard rate of fire on the 25 pounder gun is 8 rounds per minute, and the average penetration on each round, which I believe is an HE, which it is. So I think the premium high explosive will have a bit more, the premium armor piercing will have a bit more penetration, which it does, but it does the same amount of damage. So we have a standard AP round which has an average penetration of 71mm, a premium AP round with a average penetration of 92mm, and a high explosive round which has 44 average millimeters of penetration. The average damage is 180 with the standard AP round, 180 with the premium AP round, and 280 with the high explosive round. A traverse speed of 39 degrees a second. Turret armor is 57mm on the front, 25mm on the side and rear, and it has a traverse speed of 34 degrees a second with a view range of 370. Signal range is 615. And sorry, I forgot to mention the aim time and accuracy of the gun. Aim time is 2.1 seconds, and the accuracy is 0.46 at 100 meters. As you would expect from a derp gun, slightly improved from the Caboose up to Stubbs, but Stubbs looks very unique with the shark teeth and everything on the side. Big 50 cal on the back as well. Shame you can't actually put that to use, man, because it would be lovely to use machine guns on this game. But Stubbs is very, very interesting. And Stubbs comes with the unique crew Blood Agent, who also comes with Sixth Sense and Deadeye. Sorry, not Deadeye, Eagle Eye, because I think that must be what they like light tanks to have in the mercenary tank doctrine. Yep, Sixth Sense and Deadeye, and that is that. That's Stubbs covered. Moving on to Smoothman, which is the tier 5 medium tank. Do a quick walk around as well. Very, very cool looking with the double 50 cals on top. And I'm told as well that all of these little additional plates on turret armor and stuff like that will actually act as spaced armor in game, so it will be functional, which is obviously going to be nice against heat rounds and high explosive rounds. But most people at this tier are going to be firing AP as standard anyway. But talking about the specifics of Smoothman, let's take a look at the packages and we'll see what this gun or what this tank actually comes equipped with. So it has the turret from a Sherman, as you can tell by the look of it. That is the standard Sherman turret on this thing. I was confused initially when I first saw this tank. I thought it was the turret from an M22 Locust, and if you guys play Russian tanks you should be familiar with that gun. That is the 76mm S54, which is from the T34. The V2 engine as well, which again is from the, I think the T34 and the KV1 both have the V2 engine, and it has the tracks from a G1. So it's a G1 hull with a Sherman turret and a T34 gun and engine, but the dual 50 cals on top just looks so damn good. Now it has a AP round, an APCR, and a high explosive round, similarly to what the T34 has on this gun anyway. And if we look at the stats on this thing, it only has a tier 6 radio, but let's take a look at the specifics just to get a better understanding as to how this is going to play in game. So the V2 engine has 480 horsepower. The 76mm S54 gun has a standard rate of fire of 10 rounds per minute. Average penetration is 125mm with the AP round, 156mm with the APCR round, and 39mm with the high explosive round. Aim time is 2.7 and accuracy is 0.39 at 100 meters. The average damage for each round is as followed: 115 with the AP round, 110 with the APCR, and 165 with high explosives. So interesting to see that the premium ammunition will actually have slightly less average damage, albeit by 5. Not going to make too much of a difference, but it's less nonetheless. So I think that's the first time, well, not the first time, because tanks like the SU-100 have more damage but with less penetration. Some other guns have more penetration with less damage, such as the, I think the ISU-130 has, no, that's similar to the SU-100. It has more penetration, or sorry, less penetration on the premium round but more damage. So I think this is genuinely the first time that we've seen a premium round have slightly less damage than the standard AP round. Traverse speed on the hull is 30 degrees a second, and the turret traverse speed is 39 degrees a second. Turret armor is 76mm thick on the front and 51mm thick on the side and rear, but you do have the additional spaced armor plates on the back, which I would imagine adds somewhere between sort of 2 and 5mm of extra penetration on those spots. View range is quite low considering that it is a tier 5, 330 meters, and a signal range of 415. So this may be something that is going to need to get to the front of the battle to actually see what's going on. And talking about the crew, this comes with Sergeant Red Chaos, who also comes with Sixth Sense and Deadeye. Pretty sure, no, some of them don't actually have Sixth Sense and Deadeye. But, sorry, Eagle Eye. I keep getting confused with Deadeye, man. It's because I use Deadeye quite a lot. But I should recognize what the actual image for each each crew skill is, and this one is definitely Eagle Eye, not Deadeye, so my bad for getting confused, guys. But yeah, we have the French hull of a G1 M4 Sherman turret and the 76mm gun from a T-34 on Smoothman. And moving on to the tier 6 now. I have to skip past a few. Oh, sorry, I actually skipped Needle, which is a tier 4 heavy tank, and I also skipped Bulwark, which is a tier 5 heavy tank, so I'll cover those next. Needle is the tier 4 heavy tank, which features the crew Night Cobra, who also comes with 6th, although I think a few of these, now bear in mind that this is the super test server, so I think a few of these crews may not be right. I think a few of these tanks do come with individual crew pictures. For example, I don't think these are set in stone yet. Like, you guys would have seen the heroes in the Mercenaries artwork, like the actual people who are going to be the crew of some of these tanks. So I think their names are correct, but their pictures might not be. So just bear that in mind. Some things may change when this hits the live server. But taking a look at the tier 4 heavy tank Needle, let's have a look. So it looks as if that is a Panzer IIJ chassis, very, very similar to the Panzer IIJ with the little shark teeth down the bottom there. And trying to ascertain what turret that is. I think that may be from the looks. And then this is definitely like a 50, that's got to be a 50mm or 50, yeah, it's got to be a 50mm gun or something like that, maybe a 40. A very long gun, so that should hopefully have decent penetration values, but we will discover that shortly. So taking a look at the packages, we can see that this has the, well, the turret is just described as Needle, but I'm pretty sure that is the turret from a looks, like one of the early turrets from the looks. A 45mm VT42 gun, the GM 6062 6-71M engine, and indeed it does have the hull of a Panzer IIJ. Again, this has the FUG 8 radio similar to Caboose. I wonder if the values will actually be the same, but let's take a look. So we have an engine horsepower of 192. The 45mm VT42 gun has a rate of fire of 29.27, which is pretty damn high. This may be an auto cannon, I'm assuming. We'd have to actually play it and take it out to see, but that's a very, very high rate of fire. I'm assuming that that is going to be an auto cannon. An aiming time of 2.10, accuracy of 0.37 at 100 meters. And talking about the penetration values, we have a standard AP penetration of 75mm, APCR penetration of 110mm, and 23mm of average penetration on the high explosive round. The average damage for AP and APCR is 55, and high explosive is 65. Traverse speed on the hull is 32 degrees a second, and the traverse speed on the turret is 36 degrees per second. Turret armor is 80mm thick on the front and 50mm on the rear and side, with a view range of 330 and signal range equal to the Caboose at 550. 550, guys. Pretty cool looking heavy tank. Now, I'd expect this to move. I thought it would move quite well, but I'm not really sure with the 192 horsepower. We're actually going to have to see how that performs in game. But it also comes with 6th and Eagle Eye. So again, takes out the element of having to train a crew, and you can hop straight into this and spend 10 gold to move the crew skills around if you don't want those ones. But 6th is always good to have. And so, I mean, Eagle Eye's okay, but I would swap that out with something else, something a bit more useful in my opinion. So I think, let me actually sort by tier, because we didn't cover Bulwark, which is the next tier 5 we are going to take a look at. And if you guys know what a Little John adapter is, you will recognize this gun immediately. Now it looks like the hull of a T-34, or maybe the Chinese Type 34, I think it is. That's definitely a Skoda turret of some description, and that is the gun from a Matilda, unmistakably the gun from a Matilda with the Little John adapter on the end of it. So it's going to have increased penetration in comparison to the Matilda's 2-pounder, but that is a 2-pounder gun with the, oh, sorry, 6-pounder or 2-pounder? Actually, you know what, let's take a look so that I don't, 2-pounder, I thought it was a 2-pounder, but yeah. The turret is actually called Bulwark, but I'm pretty sure that is the turret from a Skoda T40. I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the T40's turret. It looks very similar to what the T40 has in game, and it has the QF 2-pounder Mark XB. So it has the Little John adapter. It's going to be interesting to see what the penetration values are. The Maybach HL90 engine, and it actually has the hull from a T43, which is very interesting considering that this is a tier 5, because the T43 has a slightly improved armor value over the T34. Damn. So as the hull of a tier 7 Russian medium tank, the turret of a tier 5 Czech medium tank, and the gun from a tier 4 British medium slash heavy tank. Depends how you play the Matilda, really. I mean, I consider it to be more of a heavy than a medium, but there you go. Let's actually take a look at the statistics to see how this is going to play. So the Maybach HL90 has a horsepower of 360. The rate of fire on the 2-pounder is absolutely crazy. It's always going to be 35.29 rounds per minute with a highly accurate aim time of, or a highly, you know, it's not going to take a lot of time to aim, with an aim time of 1.9 and highly accurate 0.36 accuracy at 100 meters. Penetration values 121 millimeters of average penetration with the standard AP round, and average penetration on the APCR shell is 145 millimeters of armor. Both have 55 average damage. Now the traverse speed is 28 degrees a second, so slightly slower than some of its other counterparts, and the turret traverse speed is 32 degrees a second. Quite thick turret armor though, 100 millimeters on the front, 75 millimeters on the side, and 60 millimeters on the rear. View range is 330 and the signal range is 525. So a very interesting concept indeed. I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing how the 2-pounder plays on this thing with the Little John adapter, because it would be so cool to see that on the Matilda, but it just doesn't have it. But pretty damn cool indeed. Now the crew is Night Cobra, and they also come with Sixth Sense and Eagle Eye trained. But we must move on to the tier 6, which is, in fact, let me just make sure I didn't miss any. Didn't miss a tier 4. Okay, good. Moving on to the tier 6, guys, we have the Plaguebringer, which is the, when it actually loads properly, the tier 6 tank destroyer in the Mercenary line. And I mean, you guys can surely guess what this is. The hull of an M4A4 Sherman, I do believe. And I think that's either the turret from a Jackson or a Hellcat, and it has a 90mm gun down at tier 6, so it's going to be slightly slower than the M18 Hellcat, but it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays. Being that you have a taller profile, you may be able to use gun depression to your advantage. Unfortunately, I can't check out the gun depression elevation values on all of these tanks at this moment in time, because we are on the test server and I just don't have the details in the API to be able to show you guys, but nonetheless, at least you're getting an overview of what these tanks actually look like and generally what you can expect from them. So delving into the stats of the Plaguebringer, let's have a look at the packages. Yep, that is the turret from an M36, 90mm AT gun M3, so that is the AT variant of the M3 90mm cannon, a Maybach HL230F engine, and it does have the hull of an M4A2 E4, which is nice. I think that is the, maybe not the HVSS suspension. I don't think it is. But it should still traverse pretty well. Yeah. Let's take a look at everything else then. So the engine power is 575 horsepower. Rate of fire is 7.5 rounds per minute with a very good aiming time of 1.7 seconds. Accuracy is 0.35 at 100 meters. Penetration of the AP round, or the average penetration on the AP round, is 160, which is a very nice value indeed at tier 6. The average penetration of the APCR round is a whopping 243 millimeters of penetration, and the average penetration on the high explosive shell is 45 millimeters. The average damage on the AP and APCR is 240 and 320 on the high explosive round. Now the traverse speed is 37 degrees a second, and the turret armor on the M36 turret is 76 millimeters on the front, although that doesn't take the gun mantlet into consideration, so bear that in mind. The gun mantlet is pretty thick and you may be able to bounce some things, but we're gonna have to see how it performs in game before I can give you like a proper analysis of what you can and can't bounce. But it has a very thin side and rear armor of 25 millimeters. The traverse speed on the turret is not the best at only 16 degrees per second, but you do have a good view range of 370 meters and a good signal range of 615. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays. An M4 chassis with an M36 turret and gun, and another nice 50 cal on the top. Big machine guns on turret wargaming. Thumbs up, man. Keep adding big machine guns to the turrets and I'll be a happy boy. But it looks very cool. This is actually one of the ones that I was very interested to see when I first saw the news on the World of Tanks website, and when I actually went to the event in London, which me and Jack the Ripper went to. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see the tanks, which is why I have access to them now. But this was one which featured on the poster, or a poster, when I was there, and I did want to check it out and see what it looked like in game and sort of how it would perform. But moving on to some of the most interesting, in fact, did I say that the crew? Well, the crew is Red Demon, and again, they come with Sixth Sense and Eagle Eye. Now, I don't know if that's what they all come with, but it seems to be what they all seem to come with. But moving on to some of the most interesting, these two that I'm going to cover next are the two that I'm looking forward to playing most, and I really can't wait to see how they play in game. So first of all, we have this absolutely delicious looking thing, which is called Big Top. Look at that machine gun, man. It's huge. Fucking awesome, guys. And excuse my language, but sometimes you just have to let it out. But these little plates will act as spaced armor as well. Just putting that out there. They will act as functional spaced armor. But this is similar to Plaguebringer, except instead of an M36 turret, we have the turret from an M26 Pershing and the 90mm M3 gun at tier 7. This could be one of the best tier 7 medium tanks in game when it's introduced, if not the best. We're gonna have to see how it plays, but I'm tipping this thing to be one of the best tier 7 medium tanks when it releases. I really am. and I'm going to be disappointed if it isn't, but I'm super, super excited to play this thing. And this one actually does come with Deadeye, and I forget what that crew skill is. It is Armour. So that improves the accuracy of a damage gun by 20% when fully trained. So this crew is slightly different. Comes with Sergeant Lost Renegade, and she has Deadeye and Armour trained. Taking a look at, I mean, they just look so good, man. They really do. This tank looks wicked. It looks wicked. Really, really cool, man. Really, really cool. I'm so hyped to play this thing. So it is the turret from an M26 Pershing, the 90mm gun M3, Maybach HL210 TRMP30, and the hull is exactly the same as the Plaguebringer, the M4A2E4T42, with the WS number 22 radio, which is a tier 8 radio. Taking a look at the statistics, this has an engine horsepower of 650, a rate of fire of 7.32, so slightly less than Plaguebringer, which is a tier lower, but that's obviously for balance reasons. Aim time of 2.3, accuracy is 0.38 at 100 meters, so not the best, unfortunately, but I mean, we're just going to have to see how that works. 0.38 isn't too bad. I would say that 0.36 is probably like a very acceptable rate of accuracy, but just that extra 2 adds a little bit of RNG, but it has exactly the same statistics as the 90mm gun on Plaguebringer, which is 160mm of average penetration on the AP round, 243mm of average penetration, or average penetration on the APCR round, and an average penetration value of 45mm on the high explosive round. So average damage is 240 for the AP and APCR shell, and an average damage of 320 in the high explosive round. Traverse speed, the actual hull traverse speed is 35 degrees a second, so relatively mobile for a medium tank, but bearing in mind that it's weighed down by an M26 turret, it's slightly less than some of its counterparts. And the turret armor should be very, very decent for a tier 7, bearing in mind that the M26 has a very nice gun mantlet, but the base turret armor beneath the gun mantlet is 102mm on the front, 76mm on the side, and 64mm on the rear. The turret has a traverse speed of 36 degrees a second, and we have a very juicy view range of 390, which is going to make sniping from a distance much, much easier, and a very nice signal range of 700 meters as well. So that's going to make sniping from a distance and communicating with teammates to snipe from a distance very, very nice. This isn't going to be something that you're going to want to take to the front, bearing in mind that you have an M4A2E4 hull, but if you can hold down in this thing and use this gun mantlet to your advantage, it's going to be a very, like, you guys know that I love tanks with gun depression, and this thing, if it has the same gun depression as an M26 Pershing, which I believe it does, 10 degrees of gun depression, then it should be very, very, very nice to use when sniping on ridgelines, and I can't wait to see how it plays. This is one that I am very, very, very excited for, and I just want to get my hands stuck into this thing straight away and take it onto the live server and see if we can slap some people around with it. But moving on to the other tank that I am very, very much looking forward to playing is Slapjack. And like I said, guys, this thing combines all of the best features of the tier 7 heavy tanks, in my opinion. Now, if you can't guess already, this has the hull from an IS, well, an IS-1 technically, because it doesn't have the sloped armor that the Chinese IS-2 has. This is the hull from the Russian IS-2, which is the earlier variant. It's like the 1942 variant of the IS hull. It has the turret from a T-29, which is ridiculous, as you guys know. Like, if you hold down in a T29, you are pretty much God mode. But it has the gun mantlet from a Tiger 1 and the short 88 from a Tiger 1 as well. So expect a very, very good, accurate, fast-firing 88mm gun with unbelievable mobility, being that this is, well, not unbelievable, but nice mobility considering that it is the hull from an IS-2. IS-2s are very maneuverable, and you have the God mode hold down ability of a T29. So I'm very much looking forward to playing this thing. This and Big Top are by far the tanks that I'm looking forward to playing most, and this tank comes with Sergeant Fallen Knight, who has the, I forget which crew skill that is as well. That is pain tolerance, I believe. Yeah, pain tolerance, so a reduced chance to take damage to your crew members, and it comes with repairs already trained as well. But I would probably swap that out for, I'd probably swap out pain tolerance for 6th Sense, and then keep repairs while I train other skills, because that would be a very nice combo to have off the bat. And I love the DP-28 on the back of the turret as well, by the way. Strong Russian machine gun. And let's take a look at the packages. So indeed, we have the T136 turret from a T29. So that is the stock turret from the T29, if I remember rightly, but very, very nice armor nonetheless. The gun is indeed the 88mm KWK 36L56, so the short Tiger gun, which features on the OP Tiger 131. So if it performs anything like that, then it may be very, very good. I know that it has reduced penetration values on the, or it has increased penetration values on the Tiger 131. The penetration on this tank is not quite the same. It's reduced for balance reasons, obviously, but it has the same Maybach engine that the, I think, Big Top has. Let me just confirm. No, they're slightly different, actually. Slightly different. So we have the Maybach HL 210 TRM P45 engine, the tracks from the IS-2M, and a tier 9 radio A220. Taking a look at the statistics of them, we have an engine horsepower of 650, which is exactly the same as Big Top. So being that this is a heavier tank, it will probably be a bit more sluggish than its tier 7 medium tank counterpart, as you would expect. The rate of fire is 11.54 rounds per minute, so very, very nice rate of fire on the 88mm gun. Aim time is 2.10, very nice aim time for a heavy tank. Accuracy is 0.38, so exactly the same as Big Top's accuracy, and slightly reduced penetration, or I think that might actually be the same. I think that may be the same, guys. We have an average penetration on the AP round of 145mm. The average penetration on the APCR round is 194, and the average penetration on the high explosive round is 44mm. Average damage is 220 on AP and APCR, and the high explosive round has an average damage of 270. Now we have a hull traverse speed of 33 degrees a second, which isn't the greatest, but it's a heavy tank, what do you expect? But the turret armor, guys, is absolutely insanity. Look at the turret armor on this tank. 279mm of thickness on the front of the turret, 127mm on the side, and 102mm on the rear. We have a traverse speed of 26 degrees a second on the turret, slightly reduced view range at 350 meters, and a signal range of 600 meters. So I cannot stress to you guys just how much I'm looking forward to playing this thing. It will be, I think it will be really, really good within its own tier. Really good. Really, really good. I just had to take a moment to like appreciate it right there, but we will move on to the tier 8 shortly. Okay, so moving on to the tier 8, we have Cruncher. And this one is a bit of a strange looking one. Very, very strange looking one, but it has a lot of spaced armor around the turret. That is a Skoda turret of some description, so a Czech turret. Not entirely sure which one, but we will find out when we move into the details of this tank. But we have what looks like the hull from an M26 Pershing. A very, very big gun. I'm not sure which gun this actually is, because normally you can determine them based on the muzzle brake. I think this may be the long 88 from the Tiger 2, I think, but we will find out when we take a look at the statistics. But that's definitely an M26 Pershing hull, and definitely a Skoda turret of some description with this spaced armor pretty much all around it. So that's going to be nice if you are facing it off against heat rounds or high explosive rounds. But I imagine the spaced armor's thick, but it's not that thick, so I imagine AP rounds will probably cut straight through that. But every tank has to have its weakness, and that appears to be Cruncher's weakness, is its turret armor. But again, well, not again actually, this one comes with Bitter Hawk as the crew member, and she has, pretty sure that's Recon and Eagle Eye trained. Recon and Eagle Eye trained, so very, very respectable crew skills. But I would probably swap out Recon for 6th Sense, and then again swap out Eagle Eye for something like Camouflage, which is going to be more effective to use in this tier 8 medium tank. But let's take a look at the packages, and we'll see what this tank is actually consists of. So that is the TVP VTU concept turret, which is why it is pretty weak, and it requires that spaced armor all around to give it a little bit of a boost. It does indeed have the long 88 from the Tiger 1, which is the the Tiger 2, which is the 88 KWK, or 88 millimeter, guys. Come on, English, it's not difficult. 88 millimeter KWK 43L71, and it features the Mitsubishi 12HM20WT engine, and it is indeed the M26 Pershing's hull with the WS number 22 radio. And if we look at the actual details, we can see that the engine power is 570. The 88mm KWK 43L71 has a rate of fire of 8.22 rounds per minute. A pretty bad aim time of 2.7. That's not something you would expect from a German gun, but I suppose it is to balance it out. And it does have a very, very nice accuracy to make up for the slightly longer aim time, with a base accuracy value of 0.34 at 100 meters. Average penetration is very good. 203 on the AP round, 237 on the APCR round, and 44 on the high explosive round. So 203 millimeters, 237 millimeters on the APCR, and 44 millimeters on the high explosive. 203 millimeters is very decent on the AP round as well. You're only really going to need to swap to APCR round when you come across certain difficult tier 10s to penetrate. And the average damage is 240 on AP as well as APCR, and 295 on high explosive, with a very decent traverse speed on the hull of 40 degrees a second. And as you can see, the turret armor is very, very weak. Now, I'm not sure what the exact armor value of the spaced armor around the turret is. I'm sure I'd be able to ask somebody at Wargaming and confirm, but it may change. Bearing in mind, guys, this is the super test. It may change between now and when this releases tomorrow, because you guys will be watching this video on Monday, and then this video will release the day before the actual update releases. So that may change, it may not, it may change in future if it needs to be rebalanced. But it has a front turret armor of 65 millimeters, and side and rear is 40 millimeters, so not that thick whatsoever. Hopefully the spaced armor will add some sort of extra protection to that, but we're going to have to see how it plays in game to see how that actually performs. The traverse speed of the turret is 38 degrees a second, view range is 370 meters, and signal range is 700 meters. So overall it looks pretty decent, and that it has, because it has the long 88 gun as well, like that should perform pretty well, given that the accuracy is so damn good as well. It will be interesting to see how this thing plays. I'm not more excited to play this than I am Big Top or Slapjack, but it is a very interesting concept, and I mean I'll play it nonetheless and see how it is on the live servers, but I'm more looking forward to the tier 6 tier and yeah, Plaguebringer and Slapjack and Big Top 100%. But there is one more tank, and for some reason it's not, I couldn't unlock it because it's not actually unlocked, but this is Tusk, guys. This is the tier 10, which is the tier 10 light tank, and I should be able to, if I press Y, it should bring up the blueprint information. Now look at this thing. This is Tusk, and I am 100% going to be getting this thing just because it has 06 on the side of the turret, and that's my lucky number. But this looks very interesting indeed. If you guys saw like the artwork, especially in the thumbnail of this video itself, you can actually see this tank on the right hand side, and it's going to be interesting, guys. It is an AMX 13105 combined with the M55-1 Sheridan. So it has the Sheridan's turret and 155mm gun on the chassis of an AMX 13105. Now that is a very deadly combination. A tier 10 155mm dirt gun on this nifty mobile AMX 13105 chassis. And of course the 50 cal on top looks fantastic as well, because you just have to have turrets with big machine guns. You just have to. And it's even got like, I think that's even one there, like an extra barrel to switch out, which is nice. But very interesting this tank is going to be. Now I think I should be able to go into the packages. Yeah, like I said, it is the AR AAV XM 551. Sorry, not the, I had my designation all wrong, but the XM 551 Sheridan with the 152 millimeter, sorry, 152? I thought it was 155. 152 millimeter XM81 Sheridan gun, the SOFAM XGXB engine, which I don't think is in the game at the moment. That might be unique to this tank, unless that is on another tank, but I've never heard of it myself. The AMX 13105 chassis and an ANVRC12 radio. Can I delve into the specifics? I don't think I can. It only shows me that. Now I tried to skip to get this tank unlocked, like I skipped all of the parts of the contract which unlock it, but once you get to the last two stages of the contract, you can't skip them any further. You actually have to do them manually by the look of things. I don't think you can skip them all. I know you can buy the tanks in the tech tree, but I don't know now. Like, I'm confused as to whether I can actually buy a tank straight up or whether I have to skip to the point where I'm at stage 7 and then complete the last two. That's how it seems to be. But unfortunately I can't show you the details of this thing. I can only show you the blueprint information, like how it looks and what it actually comes with, but I can't give away any statistical data on it by the look of things, unfortunately. But at least you get to see what it looks like, and you're going to have a rough idea as to how it performs, being that it is the Sheridan combined with a 13105, two tanks that we already have in game. It's pretty much going to be a smaller T49 except at tier 10, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this thing plays. But that is pretty much it for the overview. There's nothing else for me to show you guys. That is it in terms of all of the tech tree, and I cannot wait to play this. Slapjack's going to be so good. I can't wait to play it, and I can't wait to play Big Top as well. I'm very hyped to play these two. But you guys may be looking forward to something else, and it's going to be awesome to see what this update does to the game once it goes live, and how many people are going to be chasing these contracts and unlocking these tanks and getting through the tech tree as fast as possible. But let me know in the comments section which tank you guys are looking forward to most, and where are you going to start? I know which one I'm going for first, and it's going to be one, well, I mean, you have to go through the tech tree anyway, but I know which ones I'm going to be sticking on for a while and just playing, you know, not skipping past them. And it's definitely these two, definitely. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video for today. I will catch you when the update goes live. Guys, have a wicked day and catch you then. Until next time, peace out.